Hello and welcome back to the video on the Football Zone and to a midweek review, reviewing all the Premier League and Championship action from this midweek, and starting off in the Premier League with Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 1, and Wolves Sahara opened scoring for Palace with a lovely goal in the 59th minute, but it was Visa in the 88th minute for Brentford scoring league equaliser, and on the whole, on balance of play, I'd say it's just about fair. Maybe Palace maybe just about edged it, but on the whole, I'd say a draw is fair, and I think Palace will be frustrated with this, especially with such a late goal, but for Brentford, yeah, definitely take a point here, I think. And moving on then to Craven Cottage, as Fulham maybe pulled off a slightly shocking result, defeating Brighton 2-1. Mitrovic scored in the 48th minute, but as Lewis Duncan goal in the 55th minute gave it 2-0. McAllister did pull one back from the spot just 5 minutes later. Brighton huffed and puffed the equaliser, Birmingham couldn't find one. And yeah, on the whole, I'd say Fulham hold on deservingly and just keeping up their brilliant start to the season. They'll be so pleased with that. As for Brighton, slightly frustrating this one, you feel like, but it still doesn't take away from a great start to the season. Short result of the week probably came at St Mary's, where Southampton defeated Chelsea 2-1, especially when Sterling put Chelsea ahead in the 23rd minute. You thought it'd be a comfortable win for Chelsea, but it wouldn't turn out to be. Lavia scored for Southampton in the 28th minute, and Adam Armstrong in first half stoppage time gave Southampton the victory. And on the whole, Chelsea, I just thought they weren't great at all. Southampton played really well and probably deserving of the victory. Cats off a decent start to the season for them, 9th in the table, really good for them. Chelsea, though, already quite a way off the likes of Arsenal in 10th already. Moving on then to Leeds, as they drew 1-1 with Everton. Gordon gave Everton the lead in the 17th minute, but Sinisterra in the 55th minute pulled one back, and got the draw. And on the whole, I think Leeds will be frustrated because they were the best team. I know Jesse Marsh was quite angry at the end of the game, especially with Zach about it on time. But yeah, Everton going into the lead twice in a row now and not holding it can be frustrating. But on the whole, still 2 pretty solid points. And I think they're definitely starting to improve now. Moving on into Wednesday's game, and it's a Haaland show once again at the Etihad as Man City defeated Nottingham Forest 6-0. Haaland with a 38-minute hat-trick, and then in the second half, Cancelo and Alvarez with 2. For Man City, just total domination. They just look a level above really everyone else at the moment, don't they? Not much more to say. Forest, I think Steve Cooper said it, it's just best to get this game out of the way early on, and I think in the long run, maybe in a couple of months, they'll just be thinking, thank God we got this one out of the way. Moving on into Arsenal and Aston Villa, and Arsenal maintain the 100% record. Jesus in the 30th minute and Martinelli in the 77th minute with the goals. Douglas Luiz in the 74th minute pulled one back for Villa and got the equaliser, but Arsenal scored straight off, like I said. On the whole, Arsenal were definitely deserving the victory, but for Villa to come so close, definitely promising signs here. Maybe a slight improvement on what we've seen recently, but still no points. Arsenal, though, hats off to them, continuing their record of 100% so far this season, so impressive. Moving on then to Bournemouth as they drew 0-0 with Wolves, and on the whole, Wolves were probably a better side here. 17 goals against Bournemouth 5, 4-2 in terms of shots in goal. But Bournemouth, I don't think with Scott Parker gone, all the upheaval, 9-0 defeat, I think they just need to shut up shop and take a point here. I think that's a more than good enough result, for them, they are definitely taking that. For Wolves, though, they would have sensed a real opportunity here with how weak Bournemouth were coming into this one. Couldn't take advantage of it, but I'll say a point is better than no point, I guess. West Ham 1, Tottenham 1 was the score at the London Stadium on Wednesday in the Premier League. Kahara gave Tottenham the own goal in the 34th minute, and Souček in the 55th minute pulled it back level. And on the whole, I'd say a draw was a fair result. Wasn't too much separate the two sides. I know Conte was angry at VAR, and to be honest, he does have a point. West Ham won't matter. They're starting to pick up now after a really disappointing start for the season. But yeah, I think Tottenham will be just frustrated not to come away with all 3 points here. Liverpool saw the show later on with a 2-1 win against Newcastle. Isaac gave Newcastle in the 38th minute their new signing before Firmino on the hour mark made it level, and Carvalho in the 98th minute. What a lovely goal to seal the win for Liverpool, and what a moment for him. And on the whole, Liverpool's patience paid off, and a deserved victory for them. Newcastle will be absolutely gutted, but for Liverpool, hopefully that really does start to get them on now after what's been a pretty slow start to the season. And finally, reviewing Thursday's game, Leicester 0, Manchester United 1. Sancho with the only goal of the game in the 23rd minute, and on the whole, except for that, there wasn't much separating the two sides. Wasn't the best game I've ever watched, just 2 shots on goal for each target, but On the whole, United 3 wins on the trot now, really starting to pick up under Eric Ten Hag after a very bad start. But for Leicester, unlike United, they haven't got going, 1 point from their 5 games, and something desperately needs sorting out Leicester. Too late now to bring in more incomings. I just don't know what to say really. Moving on into the Championship games though, and on Tuesday night, kick-starting ourselves off with Birmingham, and they were defeated 2-1 by Norwich. Hoping gave them Birmingham lead in the 50th minute, but Norwich scored 2 goals, 63rd and 93rd minute, to break Birmingham's hearts. And for Norwich, that's a massive win. It continues momentum going for Dean Smith's men, but for Birmingham, we know how tough it's going to be this season, and bossing the lead like that, even against a newly promoted side, that's a tough one to take. Moving on then to Sheffield United, as they defeated Reading 4-0 at Bramall Lane. And this is a comfortable victory for Sheffield United, but Burnley in the first half and then 3 more in the second half. Comfortable victory for them overall over Reading, really. For Reading, top of the league, coming into this one, I think they will be frustrated with this. It wasn't a great performance, but staying top of the league, they were never really realistically going to stay there. I think they were always expected to lose games like that, really. Moving on then to Wigan, they drew 1-1 with West Brom at the DW Stadium, and McGuinness gave Wigan a lead in the 6th minute before Grant in the 22nd minute. He leveled things up, and not a lot to separate two sides, really. And for me, this is the sort of game, especially after Wigan was smashed 5-1, a team like West Brom with the squad they've got should really be winning this game comfortably, and they're just not doing it at the moment. And it's been a hugely concerning start to the season when you look at the squad that West Brom have on paper. For me, at least they really should be doing better. QPR 3, Hull 1 was the score at Loftus Road on Tuesday in the Championship. Chad, Laird and Willock gave QPR the dream start, winning 3-0 up at half-time. Smith got a consolation goal in the 85th minute, but that's all it turned out to be. And QPR, on the whole, good value for their win, I would say. Really solid performance. As for Hull, though, really disappointing, especially after the Magic's Stupinan over the weekend. Couldn't quite pull it off this time, but still a decent start to the season for them, and QPR gathering momentum under Michael Beale. And moving on then to Burnley 2, Wigan 0, Burnley 2, Millwall 0, at Turf Moor. 2 goals coming in the second half from Vitinho and Rodriguez. And a good win for Burnley on the whole, fairly deserving of the victory. And this one's third on the table now, getting some very up wins under Vincent Company. But for Millwall, down and now 19th, not being the start they wanted. I think they'll be really, really disappointed with it. Pressure maybe going on Gary Rowett. Moving on then to Cardiff 1, Luton 2 at the Cardiff City Stadium. And Luke Freeman and Osho with the goals in the 47th and 62nd minute for Luton gave them a 2-0 lead, but Sawyers in the 85th minute gave Cardiff a consolation goal, and they pushed for the equaliser. On the whole, they couldn't find it, and Cardiff couldn't get their point. Luton held on just about, and on the whole, pretty deserving victory. They'll be absolutely delighted with that, really building some momentum now under Nathan Jones though, but for Cardiff, another frustrating result. Moving on then to Watford 2, Middlesbrough 1 at Vicarage Road. Rodrigo gave Borough in the 4th minute, but Sarr and Bayo with a late goal for Watford, giving them the 2-1 victory. And for Middlesbrough, this will be so frustrating. I thought maybe they'd turn the corner against Swansea last time out, but in the end it didn't turn out to be that way. They'll be so frustrated with that. But Watford really starting to gain momentum now under Roy Edwards after a bit of a shaky spell, so they'll be delighted with that. Stoke 1, Swansea 1 was the score at Bet365 Stadium. Joel Pirou in the 6th minute gave Swansea a lead, but Tyrese Campbell late on equalising for Stoke. On the whole, I would say Stoke just about deserves a point, so they'll be content with that. But Swansea, though, frustrating because once again, the season just hasn't got going yet, and that's another real setback for them. Not to be able to at least record a point here, especially when you're going into stoppage time with 3, so to be honest, they'll be deeply frustrated. Moving on then to Sunderland, and they defeated Rotherham by 3-0 in the Championship on Wednesday. Goals coming from Stewart with a brace and Jack Hart with the others. So, great win for Sunderland. They'll be absolutely delighted with that. Deserving victories here, no doubt about it. For Rotherham, a bit of a crash down to earth, really. After what's been simply put a brilliant start to the season for them. But, still no major concerns at all, really, because they'll be absolutely delighted with it, won't they? Their start to the season still, despite all of this. Moving on then to Coventry, and they were defeated 1-0 by Preston. And Preston keeps an incredible record game, not scoring any goals, not conceding any goals so far this season, only scoring 2. Just absolutely ridiculous, really, isn't it? Reece with the only goal of the game in the 73rd minute. For Coventry, their concerns just continue. Their ground has only just been fixed. I know they've got games in hand, but only 1 point from 4 games. You do feel like the off-field issues really are affecting them at the moment. And it's been a terrible start to the season for them, really. Moving on then to Bristol City 2, Huddersfield 0 at Ashton Gate. And Nocky Wells and Semenyo with the goals for Bristol City. Bristol City, I would say, draw was maybe a fair result here. I don't know, it wasn't a lot in the stats, at least separating the two of them, but Bristol City, on the whole, on the night, in terms of that sort of stuff, deserved winners, and continues their really good start to the season in 7th, Huddersfield in 23rd, and you do really feel like it's just not quite clicking yet under the new regime at Huddersfield. And finally, Blackburn won, but Blackpool 0 was the score at Bloomfield Road, and Ben Brereton Diaz with the only goal of the game in the 16th minute, and really good win for Blackburn. This obviously they've been on a bit of a tricky patch before this one, but and that's a really, really good win for them. They'll be absolutely delighted with that one. But for Blackpool, it's just the inconsistency which is harming at the moment. I think they'll be disappointed with this one. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching today. If you subscribe, what's going on family, one of the things today, if you do football news and subscribe to the channel, we greatly appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.